What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bluegrass State of Mind, the show where three college roommates talk life, sports, and all the ridiculous things that happen in an apartment we like to refer to as Room 302. We're bringing you stories, hot takes, and the kind of late-night debates that probably should have stayed in the group chat.
So grab your headphones, sit back, and get ready for a wild ride through our past college life, sports, and everything in between. Let's get into it. This is Bluegrass State of Mind.
Welcome back to another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. What's up, fellas? We having a good night?
What about it?
What up?
We're here. Kentucky got to win.
That's right. That's what we're going to start things off with.
Maybe our last one for a while.
Winning record.
Yeah, let's I'll hold the brakes. We might be trending. Over the weekend, Kentucky football was able to collect its second win of the season, defeating Eastern Michigan of a score of 48-23. Kentucky improves to 2-1. Eastern Michigan falls to 0-3. Couple stories. I guess we'll just start with the biggest of them all, I believe, is Mr. Cutter Boley making his appearance, his first career start. Boley throws for 240 yards and 2 touchdowns on 12 of 21 passing, marking Kentucky's best passing performance in 2 years. Seth McGowan rushes for 104 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging 5 yards per carry. And then I guess the other big stories was our tight ends, both of them. Josh Caddis and Willie Rodriguez both contributed, catching a touchdown pass, and Rodriguez adding another one. Our offense, I think, looked pretty good for the most part. I think, though, the biggest concern for me moving forward is our defense, and I was not expecting to say that. Secondary looked really rough. I think we got exposed. But Colton, what was some initial thoughts? Well, before I get to your take, though, real quick, game highlights. So total yards, and this is also something to think about, Colton. When you're listening to the game highlights, this is not very different. So for us to win 48-23, just take that into consideration. So the game highlights in total yards, Kentucky had 492. Eastern Michigan 461. Turnovers, Kentucky had 0. Eastern Michigan just had 1. Third down conversions, Kentucky was 5 for 11. Eastern Michigan 4 for 14. And then penalties, Kentucky was 7 penalties for 68 yards, and Eastern Michigan 7 penalties for 45 yards. So those numbers really very, very similar. However, the score was not. So what was some of the standouts? I mean, you can elaborate on some of the things I mentioned, but go for it.
Yeah. First off, I like Boley back there. I mean, he's got a lot to learn. There's a lot of improvement that can be back there. I do think he throws a better ball than what, Calzada does. Calzada's got a strong arm, but I just think Boley kind of, when he gets into a rhythm, he had some really good placements of the ball, like ones that, like, the guy's not necessarily open, but if you throw it in that spot, it's either he catches it or no one catches it, right? And Tom Brady used to do that all the time, right? Like, people would say, "Oh man, he kind of threw that low," but he threw like a lot of slant routes and stuff like that lower to where either his guy got it or no one got it, right? And there he made a few throws that was like that, and then gave Rodriguez a chance to go up and make a grab and some stuff like that. So I was impressed. I think he's got a lot of room to grow, but I think you got to live with him going forward. You got to develop him, let him get his reps in. Whether that's the only way he's going to grow. And I want to see what can he be like in a year or two, after getting some actual reps, and he's got the build for it. So that's my first take. Defense, I actually do think our defense is pretty solid. I think we played pretty aggressive the whole game. I think that's what allowed some of the easier throws and some of the plays, because teams like that you kind of get aggressive on, thinking that they're not going to beat you, and you get out of position a little easier. And I think that's what happened. Looking at it, it's like they wanted to blitz, and like if they picked up the blitz, we were kind of exposed. I just think that we didn't play as smart and understand, because we just didn't think that they probably could make the plays, and they did end up making them. So I think you regroup, and that would be better. But overall, we hadn't scored 48 points in a long time. So that was my biggest takeaway, was we actually got to the 40s for once. So,
Mason, what is what would be worst case scenario for this Kentucky team moving forward? Would it be, Stoops and his offensive coordinators moving forward and saying, Calzada's healthy, let's get him back in there? Would that be something that would take a big step back for Kentucky, and not just Kentucky itself, but its fan base? What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about it on here before. Guy's been in college for 7 years. It's time to give it up. Give up your dream of playing football. It hadn't worked out everywhere you've been. He's been at so many different schools, and like we said over and over, Boley's a feature, right? The last 4 or 5 years, whatever it's been, we've always brought in a transfer quarterback. They're having to learn the system. They're having to make those new connections with wide receivers. I feel like we just haven't been able to keep a core here over the last, 3 or 4 years, and that's kind of been a lot of it too. So I think moving forward, you have to ride it out with Boley no matter what. I'm not going to get too excited. I mean, it was Eastern Michigan, but like Colton said, he definitely throws a prettier ball. He can fit it in those tight windows like Calzada. Calzada was overthrowing wide open receivers by 20 yards, and Boley made some really nice throws. Like I said, I know it's against Eastern Michigan, but I think that the arm talent and the accuracy is there. You just got to give him this season to get used to that SEC play, get used to the speed. Let him make mistakes. That's how you learn, right? He's going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. But leave him in there. He learned from them. I think that's the only way moving forward.
We're getting beat regardless. So let the
Yeah.
freshman learn and not the 7th-year guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree, and I guess I don't want to overstep. I want to maybe not overstep, but I don't know what word I'm looking for right now. But I don't want to make it too big of a deal, with our defense. That's a good point, Colton. I think they were probably a little aggressive. I know how basketball works. You kind of stop playing it whenever you get up. Not just in basketball, but in general. And but I guess for me is I want to always see them making the right plays, making the right decisions, because the room for error it gets really, really tight when you get to SEC
You create
play.
bad habits.
I'll tell you, I was halfway impressed with our quarterback. I feel like he made good reads, and he kind of controlled the game on his side of the ball at least. But I was kind of impressed with him. Feeling like you said, I kind of feel like lesser opponents. I don't really know how it is in football, but whenever you played some lesser opponents,
down the
teams that weren't as good, or you try out new things, right? Hey, let's try out this zone press and see what happens. And we may get beat 4 or 5 times off of it, but I feel like that's just kind of part of it. But I was kind of impressed with our QB. I thought he played good, made good reads.
Well, this week Kentucky has a bye week. But after following that bye week, we will play South Carolina, who was just beat by Vanderbilt at home. And then they also they have to go to Missouri, and then we will be visiting them.
Is Sellers back? That's what I was about to say. I don't
think so.
I don't know. Dude,
I looked at the line. It was like 11 or 12.5.
Their quarterback that's projected top 3 or 4 in the draft, he went out in the second quarter against Vanderbilt, never come back. So, obviously that'd be a big deal that'd make me feel a little better going to South Carolina. I think that's a tough game to win. I just think that they're really physical. It's one of those games that I feel like can get out of hand quickly because of the atmosphere you're in and that type of place. But then if they don't have him, that game could be a little different, especially if they don't have him and they come off a loss to Vanderbilt the way they did, and now you got to go to a Missouri team playing very good. Maybe we're either going to catch them on a revenge game that they're just mad and want to beat the heck out of somebody, or maybe we catch them when they're down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, let's keep moving forward. And I'm gonna go ahead and apologize if you hear me coughing. I apologize. My throat's been a little scratchy lately, but so for all the viewers out there, if you hear that, that is me. But let's keep moving to the game of the week. First off, good call, Colton. It was a close one, but Tennessee and Georgia, what a game. Could be game of the year. We've had a bunch of games, great games so far, but Georgia goes on the road at Neyland Stadium and beats the Volunteers 44-41. With this win, Georgia extends its win streak over Tennessee to 9 straight. Some notable takeaways. Tennessee built a quick 14-point lead in the first quarter, but was unable to hold on to that lead. You had a lot of key plays. Georgia's late drive in regular regulation, it was a 4th down and 6 with, I think it may have been a little bit under 3 minutes left, maybe even lower than that. And, Georgia converts on a deep pass, then proceeds to go for 2 to tie the game. But what you cannot say is that Tennessee didn't have their opportunity. Tennessee kicker Max Gilbert had a 43-yard field goal opportunity, which was missed in regular regulation. It's a lot of pressure. As a Tennessee fan, I'm sure you're sitting there saying you got to make that, which you do. However, though, let's not ignore the fact that you're in, I think it's like the 8th biggest stadium in the country. The stakes at hand, you've lost to Georgia 9 straight or 8 straight. And it also seemed like this was his first attempt for a go-ahead or game winner. So there's a lot going on. But as far as the players go, Georgia, the quarterback, Gunnar Stockton, passed for 304 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and added a rushing one. Chris Brazile, Tennessee wide receiver, had 3 big touchdown catches, one that was 72 and 56 yards. Tennessee's quarterback, Joey Aguilar, however you pronounce that, threw for 371 yards, 4 touchdowns, plus a rushing TD. A lot of offense going on here. So, Mason, I'll admit I did not get to watch this game except for the last 4 or 5 minutes. Had a person text me want to golf right at around 2 o'clock, so I didn't get to watch hardly any of this game except for that time. But it sounded like you were texting. Like it was amazing. I would check the score and I'm like, man, this is a good game. But Mason, what are some of your thoughts on this game?
I mean, great game to watch. It was so electric. It started off so high scoring. They kind of hit a little bit of a stalemate there. Tennessee didn't score in the second quarter, which really got Georgia back in the game. But I mean, Tennessee put up 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. There were 28 points scored in the first quarter, and it was so exciting to watch. I did pick Tennessee, but I'm never mad when Tennessee loses. But I mean, I honestly think that Tennessee outplayed Georgia for most of the game. They just went through. I feel like this part right here kind of comes down to coaching and the culture, right? I feel like Tennessee just went through longer droughts, couldn't get things going, couldn't get stops, and that eventually caught up with them. They jumped out so hot. Their offense is obviously great again this year. But I think it just came down to them not being able to stop the bleeding. They got up big. They just couldn't hold on to it. Georgia just kept throwing punches, jab after jab after jab, and crawled their way back into it.
Colton, of the 3 takeaways that I mentioned, which I do think are 3 of your biggest takeaways, which one is the one that maybe as a Tennessee Volunteer fan, you're thinking wow, how did we not win this game? Was it Tennessee's 14-point lead crumble very quickly after the first quarter? Was it letting Georgia make that late drive, make that crucial pass Gunnar Stockton made with 4th down and 6 to convert and then go for 2? Or was it the kick itself that was missed? What's the biggest story in your opinion?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the kick that's missed just because, they've won some games. They beat Alabama for the first time in several years because they made a big kick. They had, and the kid ran out there, made a 50-something yarder, I think, at one point in the game. And he made a 40-something yarder in overtime that he could have very well missed. So he made them have to score a touchdown. He just happened to miss that one, which obviously was a crucial one. But still, Georgia was out there right tackle. Tennessee was getting crazy pressure on the right tackle side the whole last quarter and second half, and yet just couldn't do anything with it that last drive. To me,
what would you say it is?
To me, the biggest concern would be the not winning. Not closing it out. Which one?
The first one being up 14 points and not being able to.
What was the other one that you said?
That last drive.
The last drive, allowing that last drive.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a big drive. You got to stop.
To me, that's where it's at, because Tennessee, when you think of Tennessee football, you think, and especially over the last 6, 7, 8 years, that they've progressively got better. And they're starting to get better recruits, and they're starting to, be up there with some of the top teams in the SEC. I mean, they made the college football playoff last year, and several people thought they'd go in to Ohio State and win the game. And what they realized real quick is that they're not on that level. And that's the thing. Like Georgia, Alabama are on that level. And what I'm saying, they've proven to be on that level. Tennessee is still waiting to take that next step. And the way you do it is you close out that game right there. You just do. You stop that. You're at home. You've had this streak against you. You've got a chance to stop them. And look, even if you allow a touchdown, you got a chance to stop them on the 2-point conversion. You do none of the above. Right? I mean, I will say this, even on the kick, yes, the kick goes 43 yards. Yes, the kid's got to make it. Tennessee's had like 2 timeouts and some room to actually move the ball forward, and they kind of like stalled out, just trusting that he was going to kick.
I thought that was something very interesting as well that I wanted to point out.
That's losing football. That's when you don't win those big games. Yes, you don't win those big games because of those things like that. And I think that's the next step Tennessee has to take. I mean, they're so talented. Those offense that they've developed over the last 3 or 4 years, like it's very hard to stop. But you've got to find ways to win that type of game, and they just haven't yet. And so that's my biggest takeaway from it.
It was almost as if, I talked to the Tennessee fans, like, that's a good point. I definitely could see that. And that's why I was thinking about what you mentioned there, whenever they towards the end, they had opportunities to push it downfield rather than it looked like, okay, we're just going to send our kicker out. It got to the point, it was like they were not necessarily playing to win. They was trying to just get away with it. And, too many times whenever you get comfortable in those types of situations, you stop pushing the pedal brakes down. And I think that's when you lose it, is whenever you stop doing that.
Let's talk about playing stall ball in basketball.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
You start stalling.
You don't play to win, and that's what happened. Exactly. Yeah, they was stalling. They was just playing it safe, running, which I understand. You don't want to take an opportunity to throw that interception to make. Right. Yeah. However, though, you still need to give yourself opportunities, because I mean, I just think of whenever Ole Miss, it was that 4th down, and out of nowhere they do a little play action. And I'm not saying that they had to do a play action, but you could have threw maybe something in there to pick up a little bit more yardage, because they really didn't get much out of it. But great game. Don't really hate it for Tennessee. Don't like Tennessee, so go Dogs.
Never do.
Let's move on to Notre Dame. Notre Dame had another close one. Notre Dame went and played Texas A&M and lost. I had the score down, I thought. They lost by 3. Yeah, 41-40. Where did that go? I don't know. Anyways, I had it wrote down. But anyways, they are now 0-2. They are the first team to be ranked in the AP poll since 1988 to be 0-2. However, though, for all if there's any Notre Dame fans out there, you all have played very well games. You lost your first game to Miami 27-24, and then lose this one. Oh, there it is, 41-40. So it's not like you're not showing up, you're getting blown out. It's very tight games. I would say that right now, Miami and Texas A&M are probably looking really good to make a college football appearance. So, there's a lot of football left in the season. But I didn't get a chance to watch this game a lot either. But Mason, Colton, either one of you, if you did, we can talk about it. If not, we can move on. I just wanted to throw that out there. It's whatever y'all want to do. So I'm going to open it up to y'all.
I didn't watch a whole lot of the game. I caught like the very tail end of it. But I mean, is it going to be very, very tough for Notre Dame to make the playoff now? Absolutely. I doubt they do, but I still think Notre Dame's good. Like you mentioned, Dylan. I mean, they've played 2 good games. Quarterback may not be there yet. I think he could still get better as the season progresses. But I think Miami's really good. And they went down to Miami, had a chance, almost beat Miami. Miami ended up pulling off by 3. And then I honestly think if that game goes to overtime, Notre Dame wins it. But the holder bobbles the snap on the extra point attempt, and they don't get that off. And Texas A&M goes down, drives down, and ends the game. So I think Notre Dame's still a good team. I don't think they're going to make the college football playoff now, but I think they are still a good team. They just had a tough schedule to start out the year.
Yeah, I will say this. I was watching something today, and I wasn't looking at this until I saw it, but they talked about, they said Notre Dame may actually be in a better position right now this time than they were last year. So,
Because they
and the
lost to
reason
Northern
was
Illinois.
because they lost to Northern Illinois. Now, yes, they beat Texas A&M at Texas A&M last year, but then they turned around and you lost at home to Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
Well, now you've played 2 games. Yes, they have to win out. They can't afford to lose anymore, but the problem is they don't have any ranked games left on their schedule. They don't have any of that type of competition. I mean, the games that they could probably still lose, like they're going to be tough to win. But I think if they win out, they'll probably still end up making it. They just probably will, just because
They'll be in the
the SEC's
conversation.
the SEC's going to beat up on each other. Texas A&M is liable to end up with like 3 or 4 losses. That's just someone like that. Even though they beat Notre Dame, they'll end up with 3 or 4 losses, and Notre Dame's liable to get in if they win the last 10 games. But yeah, I mean, there's no room for error now. But I thought that was interesting when he was like, I think Notre Dame's even in a better spot than what they were last year. So I mean, who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it is.
Let's go. Let's get on to another team that's struggling right now, the Clemson Tigers. Clemson.
Did y'all see Dabo's rant? Did you see it, Dylan?
No, I did not. I'll let y'all talk to about it. I seen a little bit of it, but I didn't get to see it like that. Whatever you're referring to. No, I've not been on a lot of the social media lately, but other than doing my research here. But Clemson loses to Georgia Tech 21-24 with under 20 seconds left. On 4th and 3, Georgia Tech set up for Aiden Burr to hit a 55-yard field goal as time expires, leading them to victory.
Clemson is ran out there and made it.
Clemson is now 1-2. This is their worst start since 2014. And now they have losses to LSU and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, this is huge for them. It ends their 9-game losing streak versus Clemson. And I was able to watch not this game itself, a lot of it. I was able to watch a little bit of it, but I watched a lot of the pregame, and they was talking a lot and showing a lot of highlights. And I'll tell you, I didn't know a lot about Georgia Tech's quarterback, Haynes King, but he's a dude. He passed for 19 for 27 for 216 yards, rushed 25 times for 103 yards, and scored 1 rushing touchdown. Everything that I was watching, this man looks like he's just a winner. Like he wants to win. He does all the little things for this team. He's a leader. And he was answering. This was really cool. He was answering questions for College Game Day. I don't know if y'all watched that. Whenever he was just slinging passes, and you know how Pat McAfee is, and he was like, "Man, let me tell you, this is the most impressive thing I've ever seen in my life. You're sitting here answering all these questions." And then he's like, "I'll tell you what, buddy, if you can hit the goalpost, I'll give you 200 grand. I was like, "What?" You know how they throw the he was standing on like the 20-yard line, and he was like, and I don't know how much of it he would actually gave to him and how much to charity, but he was just throwing out, and I was like, my goodness, this man's got money just throwing out everywhere.
I love that, actually.
Yeah, I like what he talked about. He's really good for College Game Day, I think. But no, tell me about this rant.
Yeah, so Dabo went on a rant. He had his press media day, whatever. Obviously, after win, you know how media is going to get. And essentially, he went on a rant where he was like talking about how are they going? He's like, is Clemson getting tired of winning? Because that's all I've done since we've got here, or since I've been here. And he's not wrong. He's like, we've won the conference 8 out of the last 10 years. And he was talking about, like, is that bad? He was going off. He's like, is that bad? And he said, it sounds pretty good to me, right? And he's like, we may suck this year. He said, I don't know, we may lay an egg. He said, but he said, they want to get rid of me. That's fine. He said, I'm going to go coach. He said, I'm not going to the beach. He said, I'm 55. I'm just now in my prime. He said, I'm not anywhere close to being done. He's like, I'm going to go. I mean, but he was just going about like if they get tired of winning, then they can get rid of me. But so it was a little excessive. He should have just been like, all right, look, we're off to a terrible start. It's on me. We got to get better. I think it was a little aggressive. He's gotten a little. Here's my biggest thing with Clemson. The NIL is catching up. They have not handled it. Dabo has not handled it. Someone I was reading something how they said it was. This is how it was. It was like Mike Krzyzewski. The first couple of years when NIL first happened, Duke wasn't that great because he wasn't catching up to it, right? And he was still trying to keep those old try to make the seniors a junior, stuff like that. He went away from. He didn't do the one and done thing as much. And then he got to the point that it was either like he knew that he either had to adapt or he didn't. And he finally did. And that's when you brought in the Zions, the Tatums, he started bringing in these one and done players. Well, Dabo's kind of at that point right now where he's not willing to bring in the type of guys. He's been trying to do it in the old style, and everyone else around him is investing in these players. And they just hasn't, and they're just short. They don't have a lot of depth in positions anymore. They're talking about that too. Like all these top guys like Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, like their backups were always 5-stars, and those guys aren't there anymore, right? Because they're going to start now for an Indiana or someone like that, right? Because they're like, heck, I can be a starter there and get paid. So why would I be a backup here? They used to have you just have 5-star backups, so you don't have that depth anymore. And Clemson's not really adapted to paying guys to come in. It's caught up to him. It just has, and so he's going to have to do it. Shout out Haynes King. He is a dog. First time I really watched him was against Georgia last year when they all about beat him, went into like 3 or 4 overtimes. Dog, he is. That RPO that they do. Yeah.
Hypothetical. What if Kellen DeBoer gets fired, Dabo gets fired, and Bama hires Dabo Swinney?
Dabo?
He has to get on board with NIL.
Yeah, they would not let him come in unless he was all in on the NIL stuff.
Because he said, I don't care what you do, let somebody else run it. I think that's the only way.
100%.
But he's spoken out several times, when it first came out. He's, like you said, he's starting to adapt to it. He's got to, or he's going to get left behind.
Yeah, I think next coach would be I think Alabama would go with a old NFL offensive coordinator, someone that was, someone that kind of made their way back down. Like a Matt Patricia is now the defensive coordinator for Ohio State. I think they'd go and get some type of offensive coordinator or someone that maybe had head coaching experience. They went to the NFL, it didn't work out as much, and now they come back. I think they're done with the little young the West Coast. I don't think that's ideal. Now, granted, Alabama looked very good against Wisconsin, and I am a big fan of that quarterback. If you'll watch Tyler Simpson, I think he's a real deal.
Yeah, he's good.
I think he is. I think Alabama's got a chance. If they play that type of football, Alabama will be right there come the end of the
Alabama's
year.
good. They're good.
When Billy Joe was on here, I thought Simpson played very well at Florida State. And I know they got beat, but if you watch the game, he made some really good throws. I was very
he did.
I should have said something on that. I don't know that I mentioned, but that was in the back of my head when we were talking. Maybe we just didn't talk a lot about it, but I thought he played very well. Mason, you have anything?
I picked him to win the SEC because I thought he was going to be that good, and I think he is. I just think they got hit in the mouth that first week, and I still do think Alabama's one of the best teams in the SEC. I think by the end of the year, you're going to see that because of him back there behind the center.
All right. Well, before we get to the big leagues in the NFL, we're going to take a little break here. We're going to do a little game. I'm going to participate in this as well. This is called buying or selling. Are you buying this or are you going to sell it? This is going to be just about anything and everything. So, our first one, we'll start with you, Coton. Are you buying or selling pineapple on pizza?
Well, selling. Get that nonsense as far as that. I won't sell it. You can give it for free. I don't give it then. Yeah, that's not happening. That's not. It's not. No, I'll give it away. You don't have to buy it. No price. I might pay you to take it. I'm not.
Really? Okay.
Well,
I can see Mason agreeing, it looks like, so I'm going to go ahead and throw mine out. I'm absolutely buying.
Oh, my God.
I think it's one of the most underrated things, and I don't understand why people don't like it. Is it a thing that that you've actually tried and you don't, or is it just, something that is everybody's on the bandwagon like, oh, no, pineapple on pizza. No, pineapple on pizza is great, especially on pepperoni pizza. the juice of the
Shot.
pineapple while the
Shot.
pizza, oh my goodness, the flavor, it's amazing. Like I could put pineapple, I say your thing, on a chicken bacon ranch. Yes, I could go for that. But preferably on pepperoni.
What's
Oh, I am
wrong?
absolutely buying
Jeez, stop.
pineapple on pizza.
Colton,
No,
have you
I
tried
love
it?
yeah, for sure. I love pineapple, but like when I eat pizza, like I want the spiciness. Like I don't want any of the sweetness or the sourness. Like I don't want that. Like I
I want
just
Oh
the
want
no,
the
I
pizza
gotta add
taste.
spiciness.
that.
I want the spicy, the Italian seasoning, the garlic. Like I want all that on pizza if I'm gonna eat pizza. I don't. That's what the pineapple just. I love pineapple, but
I
it
do too.
provides the sour and the sweetness, and I'm like,
It does not
no,
belong on pizza.
that's not what I want on what I want pizza.
I'll be honest with you. I expected Colton to sell this product. Mason, I thought you may buy it. I don't know why, but I thought you might be on that. But you
Nope.
two are wrong. I'm right. So, all right, let's go on to our next one then. Mason, we'll start with you. Buying or selling? Starting Christmas decorations during Thanksgiving time.
How early are we talking here? You gotta give me a date.
Black Friday.
Well, yeah, Black Friday. I mean, yeah, that's
Buying.
right. That's
100% buying. I love Christmas time. I mean, as soon as I'm gonna put our tree up so early. Brittany don't ever want to, but Black Friday comes, that tree's going up every single year. I'm buying.
yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm absolutely buying as well. I believe last year, me and Claire, I think I put up our Christmas stuff like 2 weeks before, not 2 weeks, maybe a week before Thanksgiving. We had a
Attaboy.
Saturday off where we didn't. Well, no, I've always like my family's huge. I mean, y'all been to my or Colton, you've been to my parents' house during Christmas time.
Yeah.
Like, would they go all out? And growing up, that I love Christmas time. I love decorating. I love I can do it now by myself with Claire, create our own traditions. So yeah, I'm absolutely buying in on that. I love everything about Christmas time. Um, just feels good. Feels like it's family time.
That's
So
right.
yeah, there's two buys. Colton, what are you doing? Are you buying or are you selling?
Look, I'm gonna go with the buying, but only because the work that goes into doing it ain't worth only having it up for 2 weeks or so.
I agree. That's a good point.
So that's
Yeah.
really my biggest takeaway. Listen, Karen's liable to have it up next week. Like if she could, she'd leave it up. Like that's her favorite thing. I mean, she
Mhm.
loves it. Her favorite movie is Elf. Like she would watch Elf in the middle of the year every night if she could. Like
Now
that's
Mason ain't about
like
Elf. Colton, did you get
no.
a chance to
Listen,
watch our segment of
yeah.
whenever we
Oh,
done the Will Ferrell movies? I feel like you would have been ashamed at Mason's list.
yeah,
Did
no,
you did you
no.
not get did you
Yeah.
see it?
I didn't. Oh yeah, you were the reels. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
you
Let's ask you this, Colton. He gives you
wait,
Elf
no, no, no,
first
no.
out of
I didn't do a reel with Mason, I don't think. On that part.
hold on.
Yeah,
Let
you
me
did.
just ask you.
Oh,
Let me just ask you, Colton, if he's gonna give you 5 Will Ferrell movies. All right, you
okay,
got to rank them 1 to 5. Where are you putting Elf?
okay, gotcha. What?
Elf's your
Oh,
first.
you're just.
Elf's your first. Elf's your first movie, 1 through 5. Where are you
Oh
putting
yeah, 5,
it? See,
5,
that's what I should have done. I think
5.
I put it.
I
I
Absolutely
think
went
I put it
5,
right. I think I put it right in the
Mason
middle.
put it at 3, and then
5.
the next one was Anchorman. No, no, no. The next one was Blades of Glory. Then he went
Nice.
4, and he was like, "Man, I can't do 2 or 1 because I feel like there's going." And then I went Anchorman. He was like, "Oh, that's 2." And then I went Step Brother. He's like,
Step
1, that's
Brothers.
for sure.
Yeah,
And then I
yeah,
did Talladega Nights, and he was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then so his list
yeah,
was
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
it was all
Yeah,
bots.
that would have been no way. But how do we even get on that? Yeah, buying. I'm buying just
yeah,
for the
fine.
just for the sheer of having to
Christmas.
do it. Like,
Actually,
yeah,
real
it's
quick,
going
I don't want
crazy.
to take, but last year I done something new. I decorated our mailbox in the shape of a tree. It was pretty sweet. It's pretty cool. I literally had to go to Walmart 5 trips because I couldn't find enough like of the greenery or whatever is to wrap around. I mean, in the same day, I was like, oh my goodness, I was exhausted. All right, well, let's get on to the next one. I'm gonna start this one out. Getting up at 5 a.m. every day in order for a good day. So for me, waking up early is not an issue now, especially as I've gotten older and with 2 kids. However, though, I will say 5 a.m. is just an hour too early for me. For every day. Now, if it was just like once or twice a week, yeah, I would buy in on that. But every day, listen, I need at least. I would love. It doesn't happen, but 6 would be more for me. Just that extra hour, I feel like would make a big difference for me. So I'm going to. I'm gonna sell on this one or waking up at 5 a.m. every day. Colton, what are you doing?
That's my life. That's it. I mean, my alarm is set for 5 a.m. every day. Like that's it. Like I get up and I go to the gym at 5 a.m. every day. But and now on the weekends, that's when I wake up. Like I don't even set my alarm, but my body just wakes up at that time. So I'm gonna buy it. I enjoy it. I feel like I start work early. I feel like I've got a whole day accomplished by like 10:30, and it's a good feeling because I'm like, man, like I've been productive the whole day, and it's just 10:30. So like it kind of gives me like the freedom to think, well, like I've had a productive day, so I can maybe start like or get something done in the afternoon earlier, or even get to bed earlier, or just kind of relax the rest of the afternoon because I've had a productive day because I started so early. So I'm in. I'm in on 5 a.m. and early morning coffee too, as the sun's kind of rising and after kind of being productive already. I'm in.
I'm buying too. I just started, I don't know, probably about 3 weeks ago. Back at the gym consistently and getting up early in the morning, going to the gym. I feel so much better. I mean, yeah, I might
Mhm.
be a little bit tired by the end of the day, but like Colton said, you wake up, you get something accomplished, get to work, knock some things out early. So yeah, I'm buying.
All right, let's get to our next one. Sending voice memos instead of texting.
Yeah.
Mason, what you doing? Buying
Selling,
or selling?
selling. I can't stand that. If I want to talk to you, I'll call you. All right. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
shoot a text and go back and forth. No, I'm selling. I don't know that I've ever sent one ever.
Yeah, no, I'm selling too. I think that's a perfect description. If I'm going to talk like that, like I might as well be on a phone call. Like I just I'm selling.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm selling too. I don't even think the voice memos stay. I think there's like a certain allotted time before they disappear. Like that you can't even like if you listen to it, you can't go back and listen to it. You know what I mean? Like so like and at least
That's a
when you're
lot of work
texting,
to.
yeah,
Yeah,
at least if you're texting, at least you can go back and look at the text and be like, "Oh, this is what so and so said." However, though, I do think that, if you're driving a voice memo, Claire has sent me one before, like just reminding me about something. It would stink though if I clicked on it and couldn't get back to it in that perspective. But yeah, I'm definitely selling on the voice memos. Last one, Colton, we're gonna start with you on this one. Celebrating half birthdays.
half birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck's a half
Like,
birthday?
Oh,
like,
he's
okay, well
selling.
then I guess yeah, we know he's selling.
Selling.
Okay.
What's a half birthday?
Like
Like you
like
talking about like
you're
halfway through the
half
year?
Yeah, halfway through the year, like your half
Listen, I'm
birthday.
listen, I'm selling regular birthday. Like I'm
Oh
selling
man, I
celebrating
ain't
a regular
selling. I mean,
birthday.
I'm not saying
Listen,
celebrate on the regular birthday, like as a kid, but I mean, go out for a
I
nice
think once
dinner
you
or
get, I
something.
think once you get past 21, yeah, I'm thinking like dinner at the max. Like
Yeah, I mean, like a nice
like
dinner.
throwing,
Yeah, I mean, I've not
yeah,
had a
but
birthday
no,
party in years. I mean, but like as far as like a nice birthday dinner, I think that's something. But let's get back to actually, you know what? Let's just flip
selling,
it over.
absolutely,
Let's
absolutely.
not do half birthdays. Let's do real birthdays. Colton, change it up a little bit. Are you still going to sell for a birthday?
Listen, for kid, like I said, for myself, you can sell it. I could care less. To me, going out for a dinner isn't going to be no different than the other Saturday night. So like, I'm not one that wants presents. I don't want a gift. I'm not. If I get them, I'm very appreciative of them. But like, I've never been one like that. Um, and so I'm selling for myself. If you want to celebrate someone else, I'm always down for a good time or that celebrate and I wish them happy birthday. But yeah, no, for myself, I'm selling. If it's for someone else, sure, I'll buy, celebrate them. Great job.
Mason, what are you doing? For your birthday,
I'm
not a half
buying.
birthday. We're
I,
switching it up.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
buying.
hot too.
I'm buying for the birthday. I'm buying for the birthday. I mean, you get it once a year. You might as well celebrate, another year of life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm buying.
Yeah, and I agree with Cohen to an extent. Like I don't now that I'm an adult, 2 kids. Like we don't need even if you don't have kids, you're still an adult. You don't need all these birthday presents. I know a lot of people, like they are. Well, I know a lot of people are birthday week heavy and stuff.
Yeah,
that's something
celebrate the
that
whole
they've
week.
yeah. And that's fine if
Yeah.
that's a tradition of theirs. I don't that's just nothing that I grew up around, so I don't really understand that but I still though would like a birthday dinner, and then if Claire wants to get me just a little like a golf hat or something like for a present, that's a little something, it doesn't have to be big. But no, I'm buying in on the birthdays. So that's it for the buying selling. Let's get to our NFL. Let's start. I guess first thing we're going to start out, we're going to talk a little bit of who are our surprisers of the season. And then after the surprisers, we can get into, who's been some disappointments. I have a feeling I know who Mason's going to pick for his, not really surprise, but, a team that's trending. So I've tried to think of a team that I wouldn't have said at the beginning of the season. This team I actually, um, talked bad about, specifically one player, and that's going to be the Indianapolis Colts. Um, Going into the season, I really didn't have high expectations for them. As Daniel Jones, once they named Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback, I was like, okay, we have a franchise that's in worse condition than the Tennessee Titans, and I was wrong. So I'm going to take the Colts, and I know that they've played two teams that are not necessarily great in the Miami Dolphins, but the Denver Broncos, though, I mean, they're a decent team. So
What's
wait,
impressive, they haven't punted in the first 2 weeks.
yes, I did see that stat too. That's
Oh, no,
crazy.
And
that's
Denver's a
crazy.
top tier defense.
Yep.
Yes,
So
That's crazy.
And Colton may say this. I was going to pick probably the Eagles, but that was expected. I feel like the Eagles, like they just have. I wanted to pick the Colts. I think that they've been a big surpriser. Um, I'm highly impressed by them so far. Mason, go ahead and tell us who you're going to pick. I know who it is, but who is your impressive team this year, or who you're impressed
My
by?
my Packers. I know that people expected us to probably be pretty good this year, but the way we've come out, we've played two teams in the first 2 weeks, the Lions and the Commanders, who were what, two of the top 8, 10 teams in the league last year, and it's not even been close from kickoff. We've been in complete control both games. Commanders made it a little interesting down towards the end, but our defense, man, right now it looks completely different. They're flying all over the place. Looks like they're all in sync together. Looking to me like one of the best defenses in the league, and offense is coming easy, getting the ball to everybody. We don't have that true wide receiver one. I've said it before, but we got so many weapons that can go out there and make plays. Got a great running back, get 3 or 4 yards of carry. So Packers looking good. I'm really excited. I've said it before, but I've got my hopes up now. That's for sure.
I think the biggest thing with the Packers, though, for me personally, is I want to see them on the road. That's the biggest thing. Is that it's
We
in
got
the
the
NFL. I
Browns.
think teams. I know, but I want to see a true road game for you all, where you're playing against a really good or a good team
I want to see
on
if
the
the
road.
defense travels. They always say
Yeah.
that, like can your defense travel? If your defense can travel, you're a stud team. Like you're
Right.
good. So you want to see if they can kind of travel. I think they can. Like I'm impressed with Green Bay also. They
Me too.
remind me of the Eagles of last year, where they were a good team, expected to be a good team. They got Saquon, and you were kind of like, okay, like the Packers got Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Like is that the one thing to kind of take them from good to really good?
Yeah.
So my team's gonna be the Buccaneers.
I'm gonna pick. I'm
I'm
maybe
very
gonna pick them too.
I'm very impressed with the Buccaneers. I mean, they have a really good offense. Like, I mean, they are surrounded by so many
They have a
weapons, and
lot of
they have
people
half their
hurt
guys
too.
on injured. I mean, you're talking about Chris Godwin is injured. So I mean, come back. And make Ibuka looks
We talked about him
unreal.
before.
Probably
Standout
early
rookie.
candidate for Rookie of the Year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So you add Godwin in there and Evans and Ibuka, and you got Bucky Irving and Rashad White in the backfield. A good offensive line with Tristan Wirfs coming back. He ain't even playing yet.
Yep.
Your defensive line, Studley, Vita Vea. I mean, like, I think they're legit Super Bowl contenders. Like, I don't think anyone wants to play the Buccaneers. If Baker's playing like that, like, I think he's finally found his home perfectly.
Yes.
I'm very impressed with the Buccaneers. I think that they've got a chance to make it to the NFC Championship game. I really do. I think if they all stay healthy, the injury bug doesn't hit them. I think they've got one of the most complete teams in the NFL. So
yeah, those were my other two teams as well. I was going to go Tampa Bay. I figured you might go Tampa Bay though, so that's why I went with the Colts. And then obviously, I think the Packers have looked really well. Is good. Something every year that we've talked about, and Colton also sent a message in our group chat. He was just talking. He said, injuries, they just stink. And that's the unfortunate. That's very unfortunate for sports. Is injuries are going to happen. Right now, NFL has a lot of QB concerns. The biggest quarterback that's experienced an injury is Joe Burrow. He's expected to miss at least 3 months due to his ligament surgery on turf toe after injuring it during a sack. And this is a major blow for a franchise that found their franchise quarterback, who many people believe is, if not the best, then the top 2-3 pocket passers in the NFL that can truly throw a ball and stay in there and throw it and hit any receiver anywhere they need it. Especially this year, this is a title team. I know their defense has its struggles, but I mean their offense is what obviously has kept them in games and will continue to do so. But Colton, what does this do for the Bengals franchise? Like, well, how severe is this? Could we be looking at, a lot of people are talking about an Andrew Luck situation. I hate to even see anything like that because of injury. How many times he's getting sacked?
yeah.
Like, what does this do for the Bengals franchise? Not technically Joe Burrow, but the Bengals itself.
Yeah, what I think you're about to find is here in a few years, here in a year or two. I think, obviously they want to see one more run with them all together. Chase and Higgins and Burrow, an actual healthy Burrow for the complete season. But I think they're within 1 year away of having something like that happen. And if they don't get to a certain point, they're going to blow it all up. And there you
I
are.
agree.
You've spent all this money. Spent all this money on the receivers and Joe Burrow, and here you are trying to find ways to trade them and pretty much restart. And that's that's tough because not everyone gets a pretty much a Hall of Fame receiver in Jamar Chase and going to, a Hall of Fame quarterback all at the same time and not be able to really do a whole lot with it. I mean, they got to the Super Bowl that year. But since then, I mean, it's just been kind of non-existent. Their defense has had its struggles, but you put so much money into it. And they talk about the Bengals being one of the cheapest franchises. Like the owner doesn't want to pay. Like they don't want to pay. They don't want to do that stuff. Like they paid these guys because they forced to. They had no other option because they had the best at that position, so they had to. But like the defense, they haven't invested in. They haven't done any of that stuff. So I think you're looking at a rebuild if things don't go a different direction.
Mason,
Yep.
do you think that the Bengals, they like it that hand that they're given is forced to do that, or is that something that like they probably shouldn't do? I mean, Cole makes a good point. I mean, you got Jamar Chase. I mean, Hall of Fame. You got Joe Burrow, who's there are not many Joe Burrows that come around.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I'm a Bengals fan right now, I'm ticked off because I sent y'all that thing the other day that Adam Schefter had tweeted out. Joe Burrow hasn't had an offensive line ranked above 27th in the league in pass block win rate since he's been in the league. You have one of, if not the best, talented quarterbacks in the NFL. He doesn't use his legs like Josh Allen and Lamar. I think that's, if you enjoy that, that's kind of what separates him. But other than that, he's right there. He's right there with both of them.
Yeah, but probably pure passer in the NFL.
Absolutely.
For sure.
I think he is for sure. And And to not go out, you've seen this consistently happen over and over and over. And that's been your biggest thing every single year is, can we keep Joe Burrow healthy? The one year he stays healthy, they go to a Super Bowl. I mean, it's not rocket science
Well,
here.
even last year,
He,
they averaged 38 points a game. You had a triple crown in Jamar Chase. Joe Burrow set records
he had
being the
like
quarterback, and you
43,
didn't make the
42
playoffs.
touchdowns or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you
No.
didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, like,
So
it's not rocket science here. Your offense is great, but you have to keep Joe Burrow healthy one. And then, I don't know. I'd just be so ticked off if I was a Bengals fan because they are not doing this right.
yeah,
And like Holden said, it's going to
no,
blow up sooner rather than later if they don't fix it.
yeah.
Yeah, so two other quarterbacks real quick. Just give your thoughts on it if you want. Obviously, Joe Burrow being the biggest, but Brock Purdy is dealing with turf toe, and he has been rolled out for at least a game and is likely more well, actually, no, Mac Jones is going to be his replacement. And then you have J.J. McCarthy, who suffered an ankle injury, and he's expected to be out 2 to 4 weeks. And then you've seen news this week as Minnesota signs Desmond Ridder to add more depth to that. So for me personally, I think J.J. McCarthy might be the bigger story here just because, the Vikings got rid of Sam Darnold. You make J.J. McCarthy your franchise quarterback, and then now he's injured. And, is he going to be, that's always a big question. Is this guy that you're putting all your faith in, because the quarterback position is what it starts and what it ends with, is he going to be injury prone? Because you can see that with the Bengals. Like if your quarterback is injury prone, and I hate even using that word because are you technically injury prone? I mean, is that even a real thing? What do y'all think? You know what I mean? Is it a real idea?
I I I definitely do. I think that I think like what Tom Brady and them learned was how to fall, when to when to lay down, when to not take the hit, when to not do this. And look, we're living more of a modernized game where the quarterback gets out of the pocket, he runs more, he takes more hits because he scrambles more compared to Brady, Manning, all them. If the play was there, they just spike it into the ground, they throw it out. Like they didn't risk taking the hits, which is why they also got to play for so long, and they were on the field though, and that the best ability is availability, right? I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to. Yeah, look, Purdy will be okay. I think he's going to come back. Mac Jones, anyone in that Shanahan offense right now, I feel like as
He
long
balled
as
out.
and look, Mac Jones had a couple of decent, he had some times in New England, so I think he's okay until Purdy comes back. To me, McCarthy has struggled outside of one quarter. This might be good to kind of reset McCarthy a little bit, let him watch a few games from the sidelines, let him learn a little bit more while he's healing, and then come back. I know obviously they got rid of him for Darnold, or I mean they got rid of Darnold for McCarthy and decided to go that route even after you win 14 games. I think that was the move though. Look, the best scenario why the 49ers consistently been good over the last 4 or 5 years is you don't have to pay the quarterback, and you can build the rest of the team. Those are the teams that are dominating, right? Because if you'd have invested in Sam Darnold, then you've already paid Justin Jefferson. These guys, they eventually would all have to the team's going to split up. You can't keep all these guys. So now you got 3 or 4 years where you don't have to pay McCarthy. And I think he's the move. He's just got a lot to learn. He just ain't played a lot. He'll learn it. Everyone wants the expectations because of what they done last year, but I think it'll do him good to kind of watch a few games while he's healing. And Carson Wentz is probably more than capable of getting him a win or two.
Yeah.
I was kind of
Mason, you have
wondering
any thoughts about him?
Yeah, I was kind of, my initial thought on JJ was I wonder if they're kind of pushing this, a little bit. Maybe he wasn't that hurt. But hey, let's give him some time to get back to 100%. He's kind of struggling a little bit. So let him not get his confidence down too much. Let's let Carson Wentz, come in. And if he's doing great, we might ride with him. Who knows? But if he's, kind of performing the same as JJ, we can throw him back in there and know that it's, not all on JJ, because I think their offensive line's played terrible the first 2 games. He's been dealing with a lot of pressure back there in the pocket, and that's something that is hard to get used to, especially at the speed of the NFL. So I just wondered if maybe, hey, let's rest this ankle a little bit longer than we maybe should.
About the same
Let's-
thing.
Yeah. So
There's a
we'll
lot
see.
of heat
But
on JJ the next morning, and then he was all of a sudden he's out 2 to 4 weeks.
yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to our last segment for the night. We got about 7-8 minutes left. So, usually don't talk about this, but fall golf. Scotty Scheffler goes out and does what he does best and wins another tournament. This marks Scotty Scheffler's 6th win of the season. All this man does is win, fellas.
don't you hate it
So-
for the guys trying to make the
did you
top
see that?
120?
Did you see that
Echo
guy?
Griffin?
The Griffin, yeah, the interview he done.
Yeah,
not,
Atlanta
not,
Griffin.
yeah, and he was like, kind of wish Scotty wasn't here this week. I thought that was hilarious.
Scotty shows up for a warm-up tournament, wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of warm-up tournament, I'm gonna let you get to that here in a minute, Colton. But this marks Scotty's 6th win of the PGA Tour season of 2025. By winning this, he joins very elite company, being the 4th player since 1960 to win 6 or more PGA events consecutive seasons. Others include Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, and Arnold Palmer. Fires a 667 5 under in the final round. Ends up beating Ben Griffin by 1 stroke. Ben Griffin missed about a 6-7 footer to extend it to a playoff. I truly think that Ben Griffin was nervous because he had Scotty, who was already in the clubhouse later. If it had been anybody besides Scotty, I think he makes it. So Colton, or actually Mason. Before I get to Colton, Mason, did you watch any of it?
Nope.
Okay.
I did.
No. Okay. Well, then we'll shift gears to Colton. Colton, you talked about this being a warm up. Explain that to our audience. What is this warm up means, and then we'll dive into anything else that we just bring up.
Yeah. So one of the big things, the last Ryder Cup was that the players, none of the USA team had not played in like almost a whole month of competitive golf before the Ryder Cup, whereas the European team had played in like the BMW on the DP World Tour like a week or 2 before it, and they were all there, and they were, the camaraderie was being built, and so Keegan, made a point where he wanted the majority of the team to play in this, and I think 10 of the 12 did. Obviously, Xander Schauffele did, and he had a newborn baby, understandably. People were kind of giving him heck immediately because of it. And then there's one other that didn't end up playing. I couldn't think who it was, but Schauffele was essentially one of the only ones that didn't end up playing. And Bryson, because he wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
But he was even there. So Xander was the only one on the PGA that wasn't allowed. Keegan was there, right? He didn't even play in the tournament. He followed around. He got to watch guys and what kind of form they were in. The USA put on a good showing. What I really liked seeing is that I like seeing that like Spawn and Griffin and some of them were at the top of the leaderboard. Because they kind of fell off there a little bit at parts of the season after their wins.
Burns played good too.
So that's what I like seeing. JT, I think, ended up shooting. They all made the cut, so that's good. I think JT ended up having the worst score of anyone, but still, they all played pretty good. What kind of only thing worries me is like that putt right there for Griffin. You're gonna have it a lot, right? The win matches, the tie,
half holes,
said that.
And you're talking about a lot of crowd noise. Granted, the crowd should be in favor of us. Maybe the adrenaline runs off of them, but yeah, that's a totally different. I mean, those putts are you're gonna feel the nerves. So I hope that it was just a misread more than a shaky putt. But obviously Scotty did his thing. But overall, they look good. I'm glad to see Griffin up there on the leaderboard. He played good, made putts all weekend. So.
Mason, what are you looking forward to most heading into next week at Bethpage Black? As many of you all know, Ryder Cup is going to be next week. By the time that our episode drops, it will be the first day or second day of the Ryder Cup. What are you looking forward to?
It'll be the first day.
Yeah, first day. Starts Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's not
Thursday, Friday through Sunday. Yeah.
Yep.
Revenge.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I
like
just
that.
think, we kind of got embarrassed. Last Ryder Cup came out. They swept us on day one, right? Like the opening
Yeah.
session, they swept us on the opening session.
The
Yeah.
opening
Yeah,
session
not the
4
full
0.
day,
Yeah.
but yeah, they swept us on the opening session. We just came out, got punched in the mouth, weren't ready. Colton, I like what you pointed out. Key getting everybody there, a little tune up, kind of building that camaraderie, like you said, seeing where everybody's game's at. So I mean, I'm excited. We talk about it before, but one of the most exciting golf events. Everybody gets so pumped up. So I'm super excited, but really looking forward to getting a revenge because I don't know. I haven't looked at Colton. Have you looked at who's? I'm assuming Europe's favored, right?
No, we're favored. We should be.
Are
But
we?
yeah, we're favored, I think, by a
Just because
little
it's
bit.
in USA?
Um, yeah. Well, really, if you actually break down statistically, like, yes, they have Ludwig, they have,
Ludwig,
Victor
though, didn't
Hovland, they have
technically
some
have
of
a
these
great
guys.
season, though,
But
compared to other
right, but
guys.
like that's
Oh,
what I'm saying. Like, look, if you actually look where like Griffin, Spawn, all these guys stand, like there's like 10 American. If you actually break down the numbers of like the top 20, like 10 of their teams are in front of like all but like 3 of their guys.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like, so like that's why I think we're technically favored. But yes, you just hear the names of the European team and you're like, oh crap.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
That's what I'm looking forward to. I think it's a make or break story. I think it is. I think that like if we win it, it's very impressive, right? Because the European team is that I think they feel very confident of actually being able to win on USA, soil. But I think it's make or break for USA because here's the thing: last Ryder Cup, we kind of went with the boys group again, the Rickies, the Spieths, the JTs, even when they weren't playing that great, and it kind of cost them. This could be the new ones, right? If you can get a Ben Griffin, a Spawn, if you can show Cam Young, right? If they come out and they actually play well, you feel really good about the future. If they
yeah.
don't, if they struggle, then you're kind of worried because you're like, okay, look, JT or Speed, Fowler, all these guys, like they're getting like Kepka, like DJ, like they're not getting any younger. Like they're getting past their Ryder Cup prime. So like if we don't have
Yeah.
these new guys that are willing to step up, we don't have those guys anymore. Who do we really have outside of your core 4 or 5 with Scotty and Bryson and
Yeah.
So I think that's to
We,
me the storyline.
we need, and I don't want to get too much into it because we'll talk a lot about next week's episode, but we need JJ Spawn and Griffin and those guys, like you said, to be the Scotty Schefflers of whenever we had it at Whistling Straits, which would have been
Mm-hmm.
4 years ago. That
Right.
was whenever
Yeah.
Scotty came out and everybody, we really didn't, Scotty was not Scotty, but we knew he was good. We just didn't know. It was his first
Mm-hmm.
and he comes out and balls out. Beats Rom, beats him on singles. I think he went in 2-1, one record or something. It was a really good record. Made some big time putts. That's what we need. I'm stoked, especially going to be playing golf with my boy Mason. Colton skipped out on us, but
that's right.
it'll be all right.
It is. He
Sorry.
did.
Well, another good
We're all
episode.
Americans that day, no matter.
That's right. USA, USA. And well, no, we'll just save it for next week. All right. Well, appreciate everybody listening. As always, go Cats.
Go
Go
Cats.
Cats.
That's a wrap for this episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, be on the lookout for our social media pages and be sure to follow them. We've got plenty more stories, insights, and conversations coming your way. And if you really loved it, make sure to share it with a friend. From the hills to the hollers, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep that Kentucky spirit strong.